In this video, we are going to be doing an overview of a mech, which is one of the most unique designs of the Star League era. Another machine built for speed, and uncompromisingly so. So uncompromisingly so that it is the least armored battle mech of its age, and likely one of the least armored mechs in the history of Battletech, at least when it came to its first design. Speed truly must act as its shield, as if anything of note should breach its defenses, this mech will quickly become a tomb for its Mechwarrior. This is New Heart Industries' Hussar. A light mech weighing in at 30 tons, the Hussar is one of the most successful mechs in terms of being able to generate sales from the SLDF in the history of the Star League. A rarity to be seen outside of the Star League Defense Forces, the Hussar was built and developed for New Heart's primary customer, and the Star League itself ensured that New Heart did not make sales to forces outside of its own procurement regiment, tightly keeping it under lock and key on its exports. Originally introduced in 2620, it would in essence become one of the cornerstones of the light mech forces in the SLDF, though not in its originally intended role. In its concept, the Hussar is in fact an infantry support mech, meant to be called for rapid response to hardened positions or lighter mechanized units that infantry may be struggling with, and providing them with extended range support. It didn't perform this job particularly well, though it wasn't an absolute failure either. However, what it would become is a prolific scout mech, and would be in huge demand for that role given its stunning speed. Over the next 130 years, the Hussar would be purchased in large quantities, and few would slip through the fingers of the Star League into its member states, with very few appearing in those militaries or regions, barring through salvage or through corrupt officials and shipping errors. This also meant that with the fall of the Star League, and with the destruction of New Heart's facilities on New Earth, the only haven for the Hussar outside of the Exodus fleet was in the storage facilities controlled by Comstar. It would not start to resurface in any real numbers until the War of 3039 and the Clan invasion. The primary variant of the Hussar built for the Star League Defense Forces is the HSR-200-D. It has to be said that this mech has a great number of virtues, but has a deeply fatal flaw, and one so serious that it makes me question some of the fundamentals of this design. That flaw, however, is definitely not its ability to move, as the Hussar has an immense 14.5-ton GM270 Fusion Standard engine, giving it a staggering maximum speed of 151 km per hour, or 14 movement points in the tabletop game, putting it on par with its less prevalent stablemate, the Hermes. This speed is absolutely insane, and it is needed, because the Hussar must rely on its movement in order to avoid incoming fire, or to stay at extended range brackets as to not put itself at risk against enemy units, such as mechs or other vehicles. Even enemy infantry, if they can get the drop on the Hussar, can be extraordinarily destructive towards it. It has a baseline package of double heat sinks, which provides it with more than enough cooling for its single weapon system. That single weapon system mounted on board is a New Heart extended range large laser, mounted in its center torso and benefiting from the directional torso mount quirk, essentially making it turret mounted. This weapon is an all-range system, letting it operate at long range or at point blank, and does a respectable 8 points of damage. It won't overheat the unit, barring its engine being crippled or it being hit by exterior heat-causing effects. This gives it the option to snipe and harass at a distance, most importantly of all, as if an adversary gets it within their own sights, the Hussar's crippling weakness is given away. The Hussar comes equipped with an inadequate 1.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor, making it less than half as protected as a Locust battle mech. In fact, it lacks armor to such a degree that a single medium laser will penetrate any part of the mech, including its center torso. 2 medium laser hits, the most common weapon in the game and era, to a leg will result in the leg being ripped from its body. While speed may be armor, it doesn't mean the Hussar can avoid damage forever, and it has literally almost no protection. Any damage will go internal on this machine. This means that the Hussar can rapidly become a coffin for its pilot. Worse yet, if it runs and fails a piloting check, even slipping on a flat surface like a road, the fall damage alone might be enough to literally destroy or cripple the mech. The Hussar is fast, runs cool, and carries a reasonable gun for its era. The only problem is it has functionally no armor against incoming damage, and any weapon larger than a machine gun or small laser will blast a hole straight into the internal systems on board on any location on the mech. Any shot to the center torso or legs can result in a fantastic failure of the unit, either crippling its ability to move or its only weapon. While it may have been prolific in its numbers, and under the right circumstances it may have been effective, it has no room to allow anything to go wrong at all. Worse, it has no room to even allow luck to be a factor, as a single AC-5 hit might spell its doom. There would be a limited number of alternative configurations that would be seen, whether that be its recognized downgrade package for the Succession Wars or its Royal variant. The HSR 300-D would be a downgrade that appeared in the Draconis Combine after the Fourth Succession War, and they were provided to the Combine by Comstar. This variant loses its ER laser, its ferrofibrous armor, and its double heat sinks. It mostly functions in a similar way, as it has no heat problem, and its standard armor is inadequate, but it only has 3 points less armor than its ferro counterpart, which is also inadequate. Truth be told, it's not all that different. It's just as survivable as the original, it's just put in more danger more often by having a slightly shorter range on its weapon. An SLDF Royal design, the HSR 200-DB would install a powerful XL engine in order to give it more options. Its armor plating is addressed, giving it a full 5.5 tons, making it far less likely to be crippled by a single shot. It installs a Beagle active probe and a Guardian ECM to help it with its recon role. This is a huge leap in capabilities, and even though normally an XL engine makes a unit more fragile, in this case it might make the Hussar actually more durable, due to just piling plating onto the entire chassis to make it less likely to get crippled. This is probably the peak variant of the Hussar, and is definitely the peak variant during the Star League. While there are more competent variants prior to the 900D's design, though not many, this is the latest version made by a successor state during the latter half of the 31st century. It uses a light fusion engine and heavy ferrofibers, but its only weapon is a single light AC-2 autocannon. It's interesting that these would be captured along with their factory and put to use by the word of Blake. In my estimation, it is likely the Lyrans abandoned Coventry for this very purpose, in order to draw the Blakeists into using this design in order to condemn their pilots to a miserable death. The Hussar was a wildly successful battlemech, seemingly in spite of its weaknesses in terms of its armor, but it makes it paradoxically hard to make it work on the battlefield, even in light-on-light engagements. While yes, if everything goes correctly, it would seem like a masterstroke to have taken one. The truth is, though, it cannot afford any mistakes to happen, or for anything to go wrong. A failed piloting check to a lucky shot from a medium laser, or Kerensky forbid, a PPC or AC-10, is a rapid way to get sent to the scrap heap for this once prolific design. It's the fastest moving casket in the inner sphere. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. There is new content on this channel very frequently, and I appreciate your support. Also, a huge thank you to all the YouTube members who support this channel, as these videos are only possible because of viewers like you. With that, I will catch everyone in the comment section below.